7:19. Next up on the agenda, we have regular agenda. Resolution for the appointment of one member of the board manager of Denco Area 911. Linda, that's you.
Sue, would you like to speak?
Things got faced the wrong way.
I think I heard it. My name is Sue Taylor. I'm with the elected to the Denco Board of Managers 911. They have 5 board members. 2 are appointed by the Commissioners Board. 1 is appointed by the Fire Chiefs Association of Denton County. And 2 are elected by a majority of the 32 voting towns in Denton County. I'm one of those that gets elected by 32 towns. I try and visit at least half if I can every year. And then in the even years, my compadre here who's driving me, Jim Carter, is elected. He will run again. You'll see him next year. He's was mayor of Trophy Club 14 years, county commissioner for 8, Frito-Lay's chief vice president in charge of all development internationally and locally. So right now, he is the president of the Emergency Services District #1 in Denton County that provides funding for 65 square miles of ambulance and fire. And I'm on our fire district board for the last decade and a half. We're the ones who do most of the running for that, to do the ambulance and fire. My background, I was city attorney for 6 years, town of 20,000 south of Houston, mayor of Trophy Club for 14 years, and on the Denco board for 6 years. The update is so boring. I'm serious. The update on Denco 911 is so boring. But the beauty of it is the reliability of it for 911. In this past year, 13 counties around us have lost their 911 service. Tarrant County for 5 hours, Colton County for almost an hour, Dallas County for a total amount of time. So when someone calls 911, it's probably the worst day of their life. They're looking at their infant in a crib that's not breathing. They're looking at their husband who's going through a heart attack. They're looking at their elderly parents. One is having a stroke. They're looking at a fire in their house. They're not sure all their family's out or their pet. They've had an accident on the freeway. They're either looking at their mangled body or the mangled body of one of their loved ones. Or they're looking at their business that they've spent years trying to build up, and it's a blaze. So it is a horrible thing to have to call 911. And can you imagine getting a busy signal when you call? And then desperately calling back and getting no answer at all. So I got to call 911 5 summers ago. I just come back from town hall, grabbed my packet of papers for that night. Saw a pickup on the lot next to my home, and I thought, well, I'll just get the license plate, see if it's abandoned or what. But it was August. I didn't want to turn the air conditioning off. So I put the car in park and put the brake on. And I went ahead of it about 10 feet, stooped down, raised up, was writing down the license plate. And I thought, what is that pressure in my hip? And I couldn't even turn around. I looked over my shoulder. My car had vibrated out of the park. It was a Lincoln Town car, heavy car, up against a pickup, and I was in between. Well, my phone was back in the car, but it wouldn't have done me any good anyway. I knew that right then and there I had to do something. And so I'd been lifting weights for about a decade, and I thought, well, let's hope. And I braced against the pickup and pushed back as hard as I could, and nothing budged. And I thought, well, that's it. And then something gave. And I got about a ½ inch to an inch that I could get out from between the 2 cars. It turned out that with my butt, I had broken one of the spokes on the front grille, and that was enough to let me get out. But I'm standing there on one leg like a stark. I can't put any weight on my right leg. And I didn't realize it, but I had instantly broken 4 bones in my right pelvis. So I'm standing there in the heat next to my car, which is red hot, and I'm trying to think, now what do I do? I can't move. And a man in a pickup drove by, and I'm waving those town hall packet of papers, and it caught his eye, and he backed up, and he said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Please let me call 911." And so all the paramedics that I had known for a decade on the Argyle Fire District Board responded immediately and took me to a trauma center. So began a week in the hospital and 5 weeks of learning to walk again. So I really appreciate 911. Being on the board is a labor of love for me. 911 has no debt. We can't borrow it. But we've been on a 32-year pay-as-you-go system. And we have saved up $3 million. And we built a hardened annex this past year. It's one of 3 in the state of Texas for 911. And what it does is, if we have a tornado, it can survive. If we have a freeze and all our electricity goes out, we can survive. Even probably a terrorist attack. And tornadoes don't recognize city boundaries, they bounce around. But we could take in 2 call centers into the annex, and they could immediately be getting 911 calls from their area and dispatching in their area. So that's a huge redundancy for us to have in case of some kind of emergency like that. 911 in Denton County gets 900 to 1,000 calls a day, every day of the year. They answer 95% of them within the first 10 seconds. And the operators are trained to ask all the questions in the right order. If you had a landline, we know where you were, you'd have an address. But 85% of the calls now come from cell phones. So you've got to do your GPS and get everybody situated where they are. Our towns now are side by side in Denton County. If you're on this side of the road, the 911 operator might call this group of first responders. If you're on this side of the road, the 911 operator has to know to call this group of first responders. So keeping a GPS system up to date is really critical for all of you. Carter and I try to attend at least 2 conferences a year to keep up to date with 911. We go to one in Texas, one nationally. One of the latest topics has been, what do you do with an active shooter in school? And one of the things that they have learned statistically is that no child, no student, no staff member, no teacher has been shot by an active shooter behind a locked door. Well, the reason being, an active shooter wants to kill as many people or wound as many as possible, as soon as possible. Often the shooting is over in 1 to 2 minutes. He doesn't want to bother, and I'm not being sexist, it's mainly the help. He doesn't want to bother stopping to blow that door open because on the other side might be an empty classroom, or it might be a storage unit, or it might be a school officer with a gun ready to shoot back. So he skips the locked doors. Well, one of the things they have thought about is, what if we keyed all the doors in the school and we had an automatic locking system? Well, that might be safe for everybody who's behind the door. But what about the people who are out in the hall or in the restrooms? Elementary school restrooms don't have locked doors. They have jogs for privacy. So they haven't figured out how to cover that part yet. But one of the other things they learned is now your 911 operator can go to special areas in the cloud, pull up the CAD for that school. It shows the layout of the grounds, it shows the building, it shows the entrances, the exits. Nobody knows where the art room is except everybody in the school. The first responders don't know. But it has things like that on there. This is the art room, this is the library, this is where the instruments are stored. So if they get any kind of a clue like that, people don't know the number of the art room, but they know where it is. So that's another thing that they're thinking about doing. They cannot put it to the public because an active shooter would use it also. So, do you have any questions?
I'm just glad that you didn't come with Jim and we had to split our vote between the 2 of you. So you do know that we're probably not going to put you over the top here with our, what do we get, 1 vote? I don't even know.
That's just one.
I think one vote, based on population, right?
Kind
No,
of what cities.
it's actually one vote per town.
Oh,
You
is it?
count as
Oh,
much
it's
as
different.
Lewisville.
Is it deep, one of them is by, is it deep here? One of them is by population, really? Huh?
One of them is that one.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, I feel better then, okay.
I go to as many towns, no matter what size, so.
I have a question. Does the legislature make you mail all this stuff out? We just got another, 7 more things in the mail from Denco 911. Is that,
I'm not sure what they just mailed out, because I've got their
The
July
newsletter.
budget, but I don't think they mailed
there's
it.
a newsletter, we got it today as a matter of fact, the latest newsletter. But I think the budget comes out, the draft budget comes out. You sent some really thick envelopes.
The draft budget comes out, almost nobody looks at it, I guarantee you.
I'm an accountant, and I look at it a little bit, but not.
Well, Carter is a financial expert. He was General Miller's youngest head of finance for Chevrolet Division. So I get the budget, and I wait till I know he's gone through it, and I call him. And if he gives me a red flag, then I will read it really close in that area. But
Any questions?
Well, very nice update. Appreciate you coming out.
well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I do have one question. How many votes do you have?
Well, if you vote for me tonight, you'll be 19.
Wow, all right, you almost got it locked up.
And I have
Purdue.
7 more towns to go to. And then I will just about have covered as many as I can cover this town.
Good for you, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I'll leave this.
Yes. Okay, so we have to, the way we vote is by adopting a resolution. So we need to vote to approve the resolution.
Appointing for nomination.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution to nominate.
Would you like to know how to pronounce that last name?
It's there.
Sue Taylor.
Tame
Taylor. Check with the last name. No vowels.
to the board of managers of the Denco area 911.
All right, I have the motion. Eric has the second. All those in favor? All right, thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.
We put you first, so you don't have to stick around.
No, I want to hear what you have.
Oh, okay. Well, there
Before
you
the next
go.
executive session.
All right. Okay, so next up, we have consideration of the appeal of the building official ruling regarding 474 Peninsula. Okay, so let me tell you how the procedure is going to work here. So the first thing that's going to happen is Steve Freeman, our building official, our head building official, is going to give testimony with our attorney Ted Dunn. Once they're done, then Mr. Atkins, Joe, he will have a chance to present evidence and ask questions of Steve. When he's done, then what will happen is the city council will then deliberate, and there'll be no more interaction with the audience and other participants, unless the city council has a question. Okay. That's kind of the steps there. I'm sure everybody has had a chance to see in the council packet, everybody has seen the permit, everybody has visited the 474 Peninsula, so you all should be aware that the council members are all aware of the issue. Everybody has a copy of the appeal letter. Everybody has a copy of Steve, the building inspector's determination. So everybody should have that information. All right, it's done. So Steve, if you come on up.
Sorry, I just moved the
How do you
podium,
want to
just so
position?
it wasn't in the screen. If you want to grab the podium again. The podium by the door, sorry.
Could you say your name, please?
Steve Freeman.
And Mr. Freeman, how are you employed?
I am the building official for Lakewood Village.
How long have you served as the building official for the town of Lakewood Village?
Been here since 2009.
And what is your highest completed level of formal education?
Bachelor's degree from the University of Nebraska, Lincoln.
what certifications or professional licenses do you hold?
I'm a combination residential inspector. That includes building, electrical, plumbing, mechanical, and energy. Also state licensed plumber, plumbing inspector, and also IAPL certified plumbing inspector and commercial plumbing inspector.
Could you explain generally your job duties as the building official for the town of Lakewood Village?
I'll take in any permit applications that are applied for. I'll review them, I'll redline them, try to turn them out within 5 days, get it back to the builder to start the process. Once they're ready for an inspection, they'll get a hold of Linda. She'll let me know, and I'll come out within 24 hours.
In order to serve as the building official of the town of Lakewood Village, have you become familiar with the town's ordinances?
Yes, I helped do the 2012 ordinances, helped write them, and always involved with city council, any updates, any changes.
And does the town have ordinances governing the construction of residential structures?
Yes, we have adopted the 2012 International Residential Code.
Are there any specific amendments to the town from that code, differing from that code?
There's just a couple. We require 12 AWG wiring, which is heavier wiring. You can put more outlets in. And we don't allow air admittance valves, which we call student vents, inside the house.
During the course of your duties, have you become familiar with the property located at 474 Peninsula, Lakewood Village, Texas?
Yes,
And on or about May 10th, were you informed that the builder at 474 Peninsula had pulled a grading permit and that despite only a grading permit being issued, retaining walls would be constructed?
yes, I was called.
Who informed you of that?
Linda gave me a call.
Did you visit the site?
I visited the site that evening.
Did you observe retaining walls when you visited that site?
Yes,
Were there any forms in place on the retaining walls?
no, sir.
And so the walls were largely completed at that point?
Yes,
Had a permit been pulled for the construction of those retaining walls?
no,
Was one required?
yes,
And we'll revisit that in a minute. Did you place a stop work order on that property?
yes, I did.
What does it mean to place a stop work order on a property?
Basically, it's informing the builder to stop work until we sit down, we have a meeting, and resolve any issues that might be in violation at that time. Once we're on the same page and in agreement, I pull stop work order and we proceed.
So is any work supposed to occur until that stop work order is pulled?
No,
Several days later, did you have the opportunity to observe 474 Peninsula?
yes.
Did you observe any work occurring on the site?
I observed 2 individuals that were on site, and they were, basically had a trailer full of wood that they were pulling off. I asked them to leave and they left.
Did the men on site tell you who instructed them to do that work?
They said they were told by the builder to come out, do their job.
Was a meeting eventually set up for that afternoon between yourself and the builder?
Yes,
Did that meeting occur?
yes,
Did Crystal Zimmerman and Brad Cook appear on behalf of the builder?
yes,
And did you have discussion with them in regards to the stop work order that had been issued on May 10th?
yes.
Did the builder provide a grading permit at that time?
They had their grading permit, yes.
I'm going to hand you Mark's. That's Exhibit 1. Is that the grading permit that you were presented with?
Yes, it is.
What did that document show about the work to be done on the site?
What it shows is where riprap is going to be put in for the entry. It shows silk fencing on the perimeter of the property. Showed 3-to-1 slope. And that's pretty much it. We get them all the time when they have to grade the property.
Does a grading permit allow other work to be performed other than grading?
No,
Does a grading permit allow retaining walls to be constructed?
no.
Did you measure the retaining walls in this case?
Yes,
I'm going to hand you some pictures. Marked as Exhibit 3.
The photos in this Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 2, we asked for an open records request for what they had, and they produced nothing to us. They hid behind a letter to the Attorney General, and now they're using this as evidence when they never gave it to us. Not allowing me an opportunity to review it. Notice to me that we can find reason to object to it or prepare a defense of this appeal of this material. The open records request letter that we received showed they were a letter to the Attorney General. It referenced exhibits, none of which were attached to the letter we received. So I don't know what's appropriate. I'm just telling you I'm objecting to this material because none of it was given to us in advance of this hearing. We're entitled to notice under the Constitution of the United States. They haven't been given it. I don't think he should be allowed to present any of this evidence without having first provided it to us.
Well, I think if you wouldn't have done the open records request and asked for attorney-client communications, which you knew you couldn't get, you just would have restricted your open records request to these documents you got.
Well,
Deliberately asking for things you know you couldn't get, you caused us to have to send it to the AG.
I don't have a problem with you sending that to the AG. I have a problem with you withholding things that are clearly not attorney-client privilege. That stuff should have been produced to us.
That's up to the attorney. Why did you commingle everything then together in one open records request? All you had to do was make two. Just say, these things are clearly not subject to withholding, so make a different request.
I think any lawyer who represents a town or province in this state or in this union knows what's privileged and what's not. They make objections based on those privileges. Had he told me everything's privileged, is what my understanding was. Everything's privileged, and that's why it's being withheld. This is clearly not privileged. He's using it right now, unless he's waiving the privilege. There's no way this is privileged. So if the attorney knew about it, the attorney wrote the letter, the attorney made the call, and we're not going to give you anything in response to your open records request. He shouldn't be allowed to use it as a sword and a shield.
Well, it doesn't change the fact. Let's roll on. Let's continue.
Does that mean my objection's overruled?
I'm not an attorney. I don't know what that means.
Well, you're going to admit this information at the end of this appeal?
I'm not admitting or throwing anything out. I'm listening to the attorney give his presentation.
You're going to allow him to use this evidence?
When your time is ready, you can give your presentation. Then you can question.
Note our objection and our exception.
Would you look at would you examine these pictures I've marked as Exhibit 3 and let me know when you've had a second to look at them?
I have looked at it.
Do they indicate a retaining wall in excess of 4 feet?
The north side, there's two walls, one on the south, one on the north. North side is over 48 inches, measured from the bottom of the footing to the top of the wall. The one on the south wall next to the existing house, I was unable to take a pick and get to the bottom of the footing, so I couldn't get an exact measurement, and it was just under 48 inches.
So the one on the south side was under 48 inches, but you could not get a complete measurement.
I'd have to have a bobcat out there popping loose to get down that far.
And explain to me, if you would, why is it important that you have to dig under to properly measure?
In order to properly measure anything like a retaining wall, you go to the bottom of the footings, which is the bottom of the concrete, to the top of the wall. So I'm able to get down 6 inches. Normally it's 12 inches for a footing, but because I couldn't take a pick to get that far down, I can't give it a direct, exact measure. I was able to do that on the north wall.
Can you repeat the height of the north wall?
Excuse me?
Can you repeat the height of the north wall?
I think it's 51 inches.
Is a permit generally required, in general, is a permit required for a retaining wall?
Yes.
Okay. But there's an exception to that, correct?
Yeah.
What's the exception?
105.2 says retaining walls that are not over 4 foot in height, measured from the bottom of the footing to the top of the wall, unless supporting surcharge.
What's a surcharge?
Surcharge is where you have a load, dirt on the side, and there's nothing except the wall on the other side. So anytime you're going over 24 inches of dirt on the side of a retaining wall, that is called surcharge.
I hand you.
And both walls have surcharge.
Here's what I marked Exhibit 4.
We object to this and I don't want to interrupt, so any evidence that he's using that he has not produced us prior to this, we object to, just want that noted in the record.
And if you look at the first two photos, those appear to have, are those, which, strike that. If you look at the first two photos, are those at the north or the south wall?
That's the south wall.
And the third photo is the north wall, is that right?
That's correct.
And you're telling me there are surcharges on both of those walls?
Yes,
And that's because there's dirt on either side of the wall, is that correct?
yes.
So because there are surcharges on both of those walls, would a permit be required even if they were under 4 feet?
Yes.
Why is it important to strike that? Does pulling a permit for a retaining wall allow the city to examine the wall's engineering?
Excuse me?
Does pulling a permit for a retaining wall allow the city to examine the wall's engineering?
Yes.
I want to get back to that meeting that you had with the builder. Did the builder at that meeting concede they constructed the retaining walls without authorization?
Yes.
Did you then request that the builder send you documentation and pictures from the time the work was being done so you could determine how to proceed?
Yes.
Did you receive materials from the builder?
I received an email.
Did you review those materials?
Yes, I did.
Did you ultimately make a decision on what had to be done with the retaining walls?
Yes.
What was that decision?
To review both retaining walls.
Is that decision in accordance with the code and ordinances adopted by the town of Lakewood Village?
Yes, it is.
Do you stand by that decision today?
Yes, I do.
That's all I have.
Is it my turn?
Okay, Mr. Atkins? Yes, sir, you're right.
Thank you. You don't have any pictures of the 51 inches, the wall that's measured 51 inches?
Please give it to me.
Which one? The middle, exhibit 3? Is it this one right here? This is in fact, on that exact picture you're looking at, you've got a wooden piece of wood running from the top of the
To show level.
to show level, and that wood is hitting your ruler right just a fraction of an inch above 44 feet, right?
Yes.
It's not hitting 51 inches.
No, okay, it's 48 and a quarter.
So it's a quarter of an inch, not 51 inches, which would be
That's
3
correct.
inches.
That's correct.
So when you just testified that one of the walls, the north wall, that Ms. Asbell asked you, what was the height of the north wall? She asked you to repeat that. You said 51 inches.
Correction, 48 and a quarter.
You weren't telling the truth when you said it was 50.
No, sir, I was not lying.
Well, it's not 51 inches, is it?
No, sir, it's not.
Okay. And
But it is over 48 inches.
it's a quarter of an inch over 48. That's one
correct.
spot on the wall. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Is the project complete?
It was poured.
Is it completed?
Yes, I guess it is. There was no forms.
There's only a grading permit, but you're saying the project is completed?
It was poured without a permit. There was no.
But do you know whether or not the project was completed?
It looks complete, but
And if they went out there and shaved that quarter of an inch off, it would be below 4 feet, right?
it still have to have a permit.
Well, they don't have to have a permit if it's below 4 feet. right?
Actually, if you have over 24 inches of dirt on the lateral load side, it's got to be designed and a permit has to be pulled.
Did you measure whether or not there was 24 inches of dirt on the lateral lower side?
Well, it's 2 inches below 48 inches, so would you not assume that's over 24 inches?
Well, I'm asking if you measured it. Did you assume or did you measure?
Yeah, I measured.
Okay.
From the back side of the wall,
Where's that measurement?
from the open side of the wall. You can see the dirt. So if this is 48 inches, and that dirt is 2 or 3 inches below that, would that not be over 24 inches in height?
How do you know that dirt's 2 or 3 inches below that?
I was on site.
Okay, did you measure the other side?
I observed it. I did not measure that. So the difference between that at 48 inches compared to 24 inches, it's a no-brainer.
Did you stop construction on this property?
No, I did not see it being built. I did not see a permit application. There was no plan review. There was nothing until I got a call saying somebody poured 2 walls on this site.
All right, let's talk about that. Ms. Asbell called you, right?
Yes, sir, she did.
Did she tell you who brought it to her attention?
No, she did not.
Did you ask her?
No, I didn't. I just came out and took a look.
I did.
I just got a call and I came out and did my job.
Okay, the mayor just told us that he brought it to Ms. Asbell's attention. Were you aware of that?
After the fact, yes. It doesn't matter. I get a call from the city secretary. I come over. My job is to inspect. My job is to do plan reviews.
I understand that, sir, but when I asked you before, did you know who brought it to Ms. Asbell's attention? You said no.
It's not my concern.
I didn't
My
ask you.
concern is when I get a call from the city
I
secretary,
didn't ask you who
I
was
will do
concerned.
what I'm told to do.
I simply asked you, did you know who brought it to Ms. Asbell's attention?
No, I already answered you. I said no at the time.
But
I found out at a later time, after I came to the site.
So when I asked you did you know who brought it to Ms. Asbell's attention, is the answer yes, you do know who brought it to Ms. Asbell's attention?
Not at the night she called.
I didn't ask you what you knew at the night she called. I asked you if you knew who brought it to Ms. Asbell's attention. Is the
Not
answer right?
at the time I got a phone call.
I
I
didn't
did
ask you.
at a later time.
I don't want to go in circles. You do know who brought it to Ms. Asbell's attention?
I did find out at a later time,
Okay, when did you find that?
2 or 3 weeks later, I don't know.
So if this was
I'm not keeping track of my timeline that way.
if this was May 10th, when you had this call from Ms. Asbell, is that right?
Mhm.
Is that yes?
Yes,
Then 2 or 3 weeks later would have put you approximately May 31st or June 1, right?
could have been.
So you've known for two and a half months that the mayor had brought this to Ms. Asbell's attention.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to the mayor about this particular property?
I have spoken to him on site and in the office.
You and the mayor both went out to this property?
We did walk the property together one time.
When was that?